Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kellen here again from Start Your Systems, and welcome back to Dakar 18, the official video game, where today we are continuing on with stage number 10, our first stage in Belen in Argentina. So finally out of Bolivia and into the Argentine mountains. This one's a 706 kilometer special. I don't know how many stage breaks there's going to be in it. Let's see if we can determine that. Let's quick do a little repair doozles of it all. And if you remember last time, we moved out of dead last into 12th, so a little bit better. We won the stage, but here's basically what's going on today. Looks like we're doing mostly mountains, not a lot of flat terrain out there, and 45 waypoints in the road book. So let's jump into it. And finally, oh my goodness, finally it's not raining anymore. All the way through the last 4 stages in Bolivia, it was raining. It was a little ridiculous. It got a little too much, in my opinion. But now we're back at it, starting at a frisky 7 a.m. in the morning by the looks of it. And just going after it. Let me turn the HUD back on before I get too far out here. Oop. Alright, so hoping to get this rally finished up soon. Don't know how soon it will be, but I feel like I've been playing this dang thing for freaking ever. And I'm sure that now that we're into these last stages, it'll probably go by a little bit faster. Going off this road here. Not really paying attention to the road book all that much. Oh, it's interesting that it classified this as like kind of going off-road, but really it's a trail. Although I guess it's not really. Yeah, it's still basically a trail, but it kind of classified it as going off-road. It's kind of interesting. Man, one thing I really wish that they would patch into this game on some level is the ability to change the difficulty of the rally once you start it. And I get that they like keeping it uniform, so once you start the rally, you have to stay at a certain degree of difficulty and you don't change it up. But I mean, I started the rally when I started the game like at the very beginning, and now I feel like I've developed my knowledge of the game a little bit past the easy mode, but I still have to do the whole rally on one difficulty to actually get to the next. Or, you know, like I could restart the rally on medium, but then I'm basically just repeating everything. So I've had the itch to actually finish the rally up first before I do that. And I don't know, I kind of thought it would be better of them to make it available that if you wanted to, after like the first stage or two, you could change up the difficulty. But I digress. Maybe that's something that they'll work into a future patch. I don't really know what this thing is in front of me, and I'm kind of scared to ride over it, but we'll go over it anyway. Yeah, I knew it's going to be sandy. How did I know? It's got a very interesting sheen to it, but I don't know why I decided to go over it. Okay, keep following the waypoint. We're now off the terrain. Or off the trail, I should say, and onto the terrain. Turn way down to 37 degrees. I guess it's not as mountainous as I'd expected. I thought we'd be kind of in those mountain ranges on either side of me. Here we are, though, just scooting across kind of the dunes again. It's all the way back to when we were up in Peru when we started the rally. Though it is a little bit greener, more shrubbery, more scenery in that sense. I don't know what's going to be hard or what's soft here. I'm sure some of these trees have to have collisions. Just YOLOing it through them though. I guess they don't have collisions. Just got to pay attention to the rocks, which I can't see anyway, so if I hit them, who knows. Alright, looks like, alright, cool, we're back on a little trail here. Golly, man. Must be so easy to get lost racing this dang thing. Alright, now we're down into a riverbed here. sandy little riverbed, dried up obviously. I suppose I could just jump through the riverbed. Alright, we're going left here. And not have to actually follow it to a T, but I don't know. Whoop. Didn't want to do that. Press the wrong button. How do I change camera? There we go. First person for the win. Headed to 43 kilometers. And we're continuing straight at the crossroads. Man, can you imagine if the kilometers were actually clicking by as fast as they are on my dash right there? I'm doing like 1 kilometer about every 10 seconds. So that means I'm doing 6 kilometers in a minute, which times 60 would be 360 kilometers per hour. That's a little crazy. That's okay. The scaling wise, it does kind of make sense because I think the kilometer range is down by about 4. Like they multiplied it up by 4, technically speaking, the distances, to sort of make sense to what the distances were in real life. But you think that you're going like 90 kilometers per hour, which is what it shows on my dash here. I'm going 110 kilometers per hour. Then you would think multiply it by 4, you're going like 400 kilometers per hour. Okay. Guess we're going into that riverbed. And at our next little riverbed impasse, we're going to make a tidy little right-hand turn. Right here. And continue on the riverbed this direction. Kind of a trail, but kind of not. It looks like there's some sort of trail in here, but it also looks like there's some sort of water flow that can go through here, so I'm calling it a riverbed, and the map calls it a Rio, which is a riverbed, so yeah, I'll run with it. And 61 kilometers in. We're gonna make a nice little left-hand turn right up here. So again, kind of staying in a riverbed. And then we're gonna have a split in the road right here, but we're staying left. And staying right. And then at 67 kilometers, we will exit the riverbed onto a road. Oh, that is mud. Yeah, how is there even a way around this thing? Oh boy, this isn't good. Dead stop in the mud. Okay, we're good. Man, these hillsides actually look really fun to go ride up on. Here's our road. Right. And up here, we'll go right again. And then a pretty quick left up here. And then back into a riverbed pretty much almost immediately. Oh, right here. Yeah, here's our riverbed. So, changing the difficulty, I'd appreciate that. I'd also appreciate, like, just any kind of story mode added to the game beyond the rally itself. We've talked a lot in my videos about physics and how the physics engine is pretty not good, for lack of a really good descriptor of it. So I've always said it about these, smaller developers. If you are going to have a game that is lacking in the physical department, you absolutely 100% must have some sort of other catch to the game that makes it playable repeatedly. In my mind, most of the time that's a story mode. If you're going for a very full arcade type game, maybe you can have like mini games or, you know, things that would be fun in multiplayer. Rocket League has great physics, but I mean, by far the best part about it is it's like little, you know, 3v3 matches for 3 minutes or whatever. Like if you had short rally races in this with huge amounts of multiplayer people online and stuff, I think that would be kind of fun. But yeah, like any type of story mode, anything that's like, you know, you go to cutscenes that are outside of, you know, when you get back to a town and you talk to the fellow competitors or you talk to your team or, you know, whatever it is, what have you. Just something along those lines to make it feel a little bit more immersified. I do really enjoy certain aspects of this game, which is why I've continued to play it and I'm trying to actually finish the, quote, career mode of the game. But it's unfortunately, it's kind of almost lacking in too many departments that it's going to make me not want to play it very much beyond finishing up this series. But I'm hopeful that with the start of this, that they can do something in this in the second iteration of the game, if they make a Dakar 2019 or whatever they choose to do. Definitely need to change up a couple things for sure. Some of the things I do love though about the game are the whole immersified roadbook concept. Most people do not like that, but most people also do not follow Dakar or rally racing in general, so they don't understand the roadbook and the navigational aspect of racing Dakar. You know, I heard, I think it was Ricky Brabeck put it great when he said, you're trying to figure out how slow you can still win the race. Like, how slow you can go and still win the race is what you're trying to do in Dakar. Because if you go balls out and try as hard as you can and kind of over race the terrain, more or less, pretty good chance you'll weed up or have an issue that you weren't expecting and it'll knock you out of the race. Whereas what he was trying to get at is, like, if you take your time, follow the road book to a T, don't get lost, you know, go quick in the zones that you can go quick, you'll end up doing quite a bit better. So I really like that, like I said, aspect of the game where it's just so, you know, it's a copy of what you look at on a road book and how you navigate the course. In rookie mode, it's a little bit sad that it's so easy to follow the road book because you just have a waypoint kind of telling you where you're going the whole time. But like, I do really like the navigational aspect of this more so than anything else, I would say. It's obviously very cool that they include real life riders and racers and cars and stuff like that. Definitely gives the game, or not the game, but the rally itself and rally racing in general, I feel like a little bit more exposure than it had, you know, maybe before. Maybe the younger generations will start looking into rally racing as something to do. Not saying that's the case necessarily, but I always generally equate video games to youth. So since I play most motocross games, I assume that these motocross games I play are also videos being watched by kids who are interested in having a dirt bike or already have a dirt bike and ride very often. So in this case, it's almost like introducing you guys in some sense to another discipline of motorcycle racing that exists out there if you've never heard of it or seen it before. And if you have seen it or heard of it, then perhaps you don't really know much about it and you're trying to get to know more about it. And I think that having a video game like this really helps, because there's a lot of things that even I have learned about the race since picking up and playing this game that I honestly didn't know much about. And it's been a really cool experience being able to play something that's a quote replica of the race itself. Now, if they were going to recreate this game in the future, like I said, a story mode would be great, but even if they just like added other rallies that you can do, is this a speed control zone and I'm just going like right through it? What just happened? Vehicle is too damaged to continue? I don't know what just happened. I guess. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. So I guess I went into the barrier and damaged my vehicle beyond repair. Never, ever thought I'd see that again. So, this is like really stupid how they have this thing set up to come in here though. Like the entryway is way over here and you pretty much just run into people on your way in. But whatever. Alright, passage control zone. Fortunately that didn't just pull me out of the rally, and I hope it didn't give me too many penalties. That'd kind of suck. This is a huge passage control zone. Look at how long this thing is. And we're right next to a highway here. And just cruising along. Where the heck are they gonna actually stamp my transponder? Jiminy Christmas, this thing is super long. Chug a freaking choo choo over here. Good thing is I'm 6 waypoints ahead of Sam Sunderland, who apparently is second on corrected time, or started second behind me, I guess, and it's only 30 seconds behind me on start time. Here we go. Waypoint validated. Still in the passage control zone. Once we get to the end of it, we're wide F and open again. It's at 136.35, so right here. End of the zone. There. And we're back after it. Alright, out to 138.48. Halfway, a little past halfway through the stage already here. And then we will turn off into the unknown. Man, this is very flat. Why did I think that this was a mountainous race? I swear, looking at the map beforehand, it showed it being more mountainous than anything. Apparently, I'm just an idiot. Watch out for them trees, though. Oh, I guess we're going in this riverbed. What just happened to the camera? Yep, definitely going in this riverbed. We have a lot of, out here in Southern California, we have a lot of, I guess what you would consider a riverbed similar to this. They're called sand washes because it's where when water did or does flow through the lower laying areas of our deserts, they usually settle in those washes and make really, really soft sand. So it's almost like riding on dunes, but they're, you know, down flat in the ground. They're really fun, but they're also very, very popular amongst like UTV and buggy drivers and stuff like that. And I mean, you are pretty much gonna be the one that takes the brunt of the damage if you head on with a buggy while you're on a dirt bike. So usually those sand washes are only really fun to go in when you're out there by yourself, like on a Tuesday in the desert, and maybe you're riding with a couple buddies, so that's normally fine. But I'm talking about like it's not a busy weekend and you're just gonna get plowed over by somebody in a buggy. But they are fun. They're really cool to like lay in all the corners. It's pretty much just like riding a sand track, and a lot of the flat areas of the washes are just like wide open, fifth gear type of thing. It's probably, I would say in a sand wash is probably the fastest outright I've ever gone on a dirt bike before, because there's been many times in sand washes that you get on a long straight and it's just like straight riverbed for a long time and you just have the throttle pinned. I mean, there's no other way to put it. But the switchback stuff is what I'm talking about. That stuff's really fun. Lay into a corner. 162.70, getting back into a riverbed. Alright, so we are just crushing this one here today. Here's our riverbed down here. Go to our left. One thing I wish that the map, excuse me, before you start the event, I wish the map showed you these intricate little turns that it requires you to make, and I get that it kind of just draws smooth lines between the waypoints, but it'd be kind of cool if it like actually laid it out as to where it's expecting you to go, and you can forge your own path if you'd like. It'd be cool to see overhead of that. All right, coming up to a pretty sharp turn in the riverbed that will be swinging around. It's at 173 though, so not quite there yet. Looks like it's right up here. Yep, turn around this. Ooh, oh boy. Down the mud. It's all right, we're good. We're good. Surprised it didn't say like danger. I mean, it says danger 2, but normally there's like a danger 3 or something along those lines that signifies mud, and it just was like, nah, you're good, there's just a turn here, don't worry about it. Alright, so it looks like there's some roads coming through the wash, but we're going straight right through here, continuing on. Then at 182 there's all kinds of stuff going on, but we're gonna hop up onto a road. So basically the crux of the road book is whichever direction the arrow on the road book is pointing is where you will be turning when you get to the impasse. If you're looking at it without the waypoint, you want to pay attention to the degrees that it shows and whether or not it's a solid or dotted line. Dotted lines mean you're going off on your own, essentially. Shoot. This road. Okay. Dotted line is just you're out in the terrain, you're kind of on your own. The solid lines are when you get onto something like this, like an actual signified road. That is a solid line. So it's usually the easier parts of the road book because you get on the solid line, and until it tells you you get to a certain kilometer point and get off it again and go onto a dotted line, it's pretty easy to follow. Like here, we're coming up to a smaller trail that is crossing the road, but the arrow is pointing straight, so you just go straight through. And it even says on the road book up on the upper right hand corner, it says follow piste, which is road in French, I guess. And then up here it says at 194 we're going to turn pretty sharply right 8 degrees bearing into a Rio, follow Rio River. So you go down to the riverbed and you follow the riverbed. I mean, at the base of it, following road books is there's pretty simple aspects to it, but it's all the other stuff that you maybe don't pay attention to that really gets lost on you, like the QT, for example. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it has something to do with like visibility or perhaps dangers up ahead that you may not see, and I forgot to turn out of the riverbed here. But see, there's no solid road to follow, you're just out here now, and trying not to damage the bike too much, essentially, as you trek across the terrain. But I mean, that in itself is the best example I can put it to of how much more the navigational aspect of this game matters than the actual physical aspect of the game. I think, unfortunately, due to our following on the channel, a lot of people saw this game and expected it to be like MX Simulator, but in the middle of nowhere. And it'd be maybe a little bit easier to understand the navigational aspect of it, and the gameplay itself would have been better. But I think that the guys at Big Moon kind of inverted that theory a little bit and went more for the let's make this game as true to the form as it can be in terms of you have to navigate yourself through this, and it's not just like hop on a trail and follow it and we'll work on the gameplay. I think that, like I said, they followed the whole concept of making the gameplay good and the navigational aspect of it tremendously realistic. So I kind of applaud them in that sense, in that they almost took an unorthodox approach to it, where you'd expect them to really, you know, feel the concerns of gamers and their wants for a very good physical engine behind it. And the fact that they really devoted so much time into making this navigation experience more interesting or intricate or realistic or whatever the word is you want to use, I think that's cool of them that they tried so hard to go in this direction. And I think that navigational wise it works. It totally does. Like, I'm in novice mode and I've gotten lost like 3 times. I can't imagine how freaking difficult it's going to be once I'm without the waypoint navigator up top on the little nav bar thing. And I mean, that's pretty much the next step up. Like, you lose the ability to see exactly where the next waypoint is in the next difficulty setting. You have to change the road book by yourself by like moving it like I am there, to see where the next navigational point is. The one thing I do wish a little bit, and I don't know, I guess I don't really know how much of this is like done or not, but you can make your own marks to the road book, and you can in this game as well. Like in real life, people mark up the road book with their own notes essentially. And pre-running is not allowed in Dakar, but I wish it was just a little bit easier to tell on the road book, like giant hill, this is where you need to go, basically, to hit a waypoint. Because right now I'm about to hit another waypoint, but some of the waypoints don't matter, so you can just skip them and be like, no, go towards that mountain range, and when you've hit this weird shaped rock, you know that you're at the next waypoint, instead of doing all this like get on the road and go through a riverbed and all this crap. Like, you just know where the next waypoint is already and you just go to it instead of following the road book exactly to a T. You like make your own notes essentially. So I wish that there was an easier way to do that. I'd assume that that's more of like a once you played the game enough to know, that stuff becomes a little bit easier, but again, who the heck really knows. All right, here we are at the completion of the stage. Special completed now. My dog's coughing up his lungs back behind me here. And the special is completed, but the stage is not done. So now we're in the neutralization period. And we're continuing on from Salta to Belen. Oh, are we starting in this town here? Looks like it. Interesting. All right, ooh, this looks like it's gonna be a really quick one here. Only 12 actual waypoints we need to hit, about 20 markers on the road book. And here we are starting at 347 kilometers into the quote stage and in a riverbed. So far my times are looking really good. Sunderland looks like it took him 41 minutes to finish up that special. It only took me about 25. And we still have a lot more of this stage to go, so I'm excited about that. So already on marker 3 of the road book, on to marker 4 here in just a second. Whoa! This way. This riverbed has some big rocks and logs in it, trying to take me down. Maybe it's not as short as I thought. It's pretty much just telling me, get in this riverbed, go to kilometer marker 368, try not to hit too many sticks on rocks and stuff like that. Like that. That is not very helpful. What's weird though is that it looks like it's doing a ton of damage because it like blotches out the screen all nasty and whatnot, but I don't really feel like I'm doing that much. Guess I can always look at the damage and see how much it really is doing. It's probably, if anything, damaging the tires more than, well, maybe the suspension as well, but I'd imagine that the tires are going to be the biggest problem. And I've actually gotten a couple flats already in this rally. It was maybe episodes 5 or 6, like stage 5 or 6. I got front and rear flats, and I could have stopped to repair them, but I was so close to the finish, I just tried to make it. Oh, muddy. Get up to the hill. There we go. And yeah, I was doing a little bit of slipping and sliding all over the place. All right, coming up here to 372 around this like blotchy rock formation thing. Just carrying our speed on through. And at 385, so we're still pretty far away from that. 385, we are going to, yeah, this just conjoins back, so fine. That is when we'll get out of this riverbed. Jiminy Christmas, this riverbed is fast too. 356 kilometers per hour, just crushing it through here right now. Oh, I think that the screen thought I was about to have a fall off right there. All right, show me potato salad. Where is this 385 marker? Getting tired of running over all these sticks. Kind of doing a little bobbing and weaving through here. And here we are. Off course we go. Or off course. Just out of the riverbed. We've been off course this whole time. Now we gotta watch out. I'm pretty much just sending it here. Pretty good chance I'm gonna catch too much air on one of these bumps. Do a little bit more damage to the old motorcycle. Come up to the next waypoint. Turn to 60 degrees now. Just absolutely wide open. But I gotta make up time somehow. Oh, that almost was a fall off. When the camera gets fixated like that and it does like some weird dealio, I'm just imagining that that's its way of preparing for when I fall off the bike, because it thinks that's about to happen. And for those of you watching this series for the first time, you can actually fall off the bike. Like if you get high-sided or get stuck on a rock or something funky happens, I guess. It just pitches you off the bike. You get sent, whether it's down a hill, off a cliff, whatever, you'll just get sent off the bike. And as far as I can tell, I've never gotten like hurt bad enough to have a withdrawal, although I'm not saying it's completely out of the question. Like there's the potential of going really far off a cliff, I'm sure, and getting injured, but haven't quite seen it yet to that degree. Oh, I guess we're turning right at that riverbed, or just going right when we got to it. All right, so I jump back in there real quick just to get a waypoint and then back out. All right, so creeping up on the halfway waypoint, which is waypoint number 12. That's the next one we're gonna hit. It also is when we'll get back into a riverbed. So that's about to happen right about here. And into the river we go. Jeez. Things all over the place. Oh, yep, that stick got me pretty good there. That's pretty cool though that it kind of kicked me about there. So far I thought I was just running the sticks over and it was just saying, oh, you're getting damaged, but it wasn't really affecting my trajectories in any way. That time the stick gave me a good old punch to the gut and I got sent off. Alright, get me to that 427 mark. This is taking a good long while here, and here I am thinking it's going to be a shorter one because there's limited amounts of waypoints. It's basically just because we're in riverbeds for so long, it's not as close together, I guess. Now I'm about to take a good look here at how much damage I've actually done to the bike. I don't want to stop. I want to keep making up my time. Oof. Yep, that's not good. Alright, I'm gonna take a look at how much damage the bike's had. Oop. Yeah, the tires are roached. I could repair them. Front tire, rear tire. Adds a minute. I don't feel like I'm sliding around yet, so they must not be flat. When I can feel them flat, I'll fix them. That's probably not gonna help right there. So I can get out of this riverbed now. If I knew where that riverbed was going and I was for sure it wasn't gonna like turn in some odd oblong direction at some point, I would have totally been fine with just beelining it to where I'm at right now, but again, I wasn't totally certain that it wasn't gonna just turn off in some odd direction. And then I'd be super lost. So it looks like our next waypoint is going to have some sort of mud trap right at it. It's denoted by that little splotchy thing in the center. It says recall trip. I don't know if that necessarily means exactly what I think it means or not, but yep, there it is. Why did I fall right into the trap? I can see it on the map and I still went right for it. Oh my goodness, and this stuff is deep. Oof, it's dragging me over to this hillside. Alright, there we go. Let's keep running over these sticks. Why not? It'll be fun. Alright, get to 450 and we can finally jump out of this riverbed. Do a little switchbackaroo on the way out. Seemingly making good time, so I suppose I could take the penalty to fix the tires, but I don't really feel like they're that negatively affecting me yet. Again, if they go flat, you can definitely feel it, and when that happens, I will make the necessary adjustments. Actually, I'm thinking it's probably actually hurting my ability to go faster right now since I'm only doing 110 kilometers per hour. There was the turn. Just getting up on this road. Guess we're following this guy as well. To 462, so we'll be on this one for a little ways. That'll get us to our next waypoint, waypoint number 9 of 12. Have to imagine the stage is going to be over at the end of this, because that's usually what's going on, is you do a special and then you do like, I guess, a second special or another part of the stage. Gotta be getting near the end of it though, I'm sure. It says 706 kilometers, but so far that hasn't meant anything. Basically just tells you how long until the distance of the next race is, I guess. I don't really get how it works, but guess that's what it does. Alright, so through the trees here, looks like we're sort of following along the trail still. No real change there. But we are going to get back into a riverbed. Okay. And we're going to hook a left when we get down in here. That's a stick. That's another stick. So dramatic, man. It makes it seem like you're injuring the rider less so than you are injuring the machine. Guess we're going down this smaller riverbed. Oh, and here's the finish line. Cool. Bam, made it. Didn't even have to get my tires fixed up. 36:39, that must be the stage time, judging by the way everything looks. Yep, final time, stage time. Hit all my waypoints, no penalties. And wow, gained almost a half hour on everybody. And pretty much an hour on most everybody. Back of like 8th place, gained about an hour on them. And it moved me up to 11th, so I'm 5 hours and 10 minutes off the lead with 3 stages to go. Probably not going to win. But I do have a pretty good chance of slotting up into maybe like the 7 or 6 range, depending on how the last couple stages go. I was like 7 or 8 hours off the lead. Now I'm only 5.5, so it's progress, but I think I'm going to run out of time before the end here. And yeah, another stage completed of Dakar. Moving on to stage 11 next time, which is another Belen one. And I would like to quit out of this if I can. Well, since I'm here, I'll repair all this stuff so I don't forget it. But I want to quit race. Sure you want to quit to the menu? Yep. All right, so stage 11. Next time we come back here at Dakar 18. Hope you guys enjoyed another video here on the channel. Count here on Start Your Systems. We'll see you guys in the next one. So long for now.